Okay. So, just got to get this all set up here. Let's grab my sprues. It's going to be hard for me to build without sprues. So, oh, I got double audio going. Okie dokie. Looking for artwork for Guy Ran, you say? I bet I could find something here. Let's see. What kind of artwork are you looking for? I've got some from Hammerhall Gyra. I've got
Yeah, I took that one.
some on Reddit. There's like the World Anvil has a picture, it looks like. It's only 800 by 320. So not great quality, but they've got some. Okay. Well, we'll swap that out. I think what we're going to have to do today is work towards the weapon systems on the Knight Defender, which is fine by me. So, it says I need 97 and 95. I had a feeling on that one. And 20 and 21. Okay. Hello, Honorby. I ask if you're being a good boy, but I know better. Here we go. So I know I'm going to need some of those. And obviously I've got the thick one here. I don't want to use the God Hand for those. Let's use my decent ones. Well, I've given it quite a bit of thought, just to drum up topic of conversation. You challenged me to try to come up with a Disciples of Tzeentch faction and utilize the model ranges of the Disciples of Tzeentch to do so. You know, the vibe I get from looking at those models, for the most part, is kind of like Greek soldiers. Looking at the cultists, I forget what they're called, the acolytes, whatever it is, the Kaishar acolytes or whatever. I get Greek vibes, like Sparta or Athens, but they look more like gladiatorial fighters than anything. I'd want to swap the heads, I think. But I'm thinking I go for like a Greek city kind of angle. And I'm thinking by doing the disciples, maybe their shtick is they are saboteurs, if you will, that sabotage forces of the other gods of chaos to keep the great game of the gods going. Constantly introducing change, because that's Tzeentch's whole deal, by disrupting the plans of the acolytes of Khorne, Slaanesh, and Nurgle. What do you think?
That's good.
That's cool.
Okay. Sorry, I'm also trying to find photos, so...
You're good, brother man. I know you're working. I know you're doing some good stuff, so no need to apologize to me. I sent Edboy a message. He's on, but he did not respond, nor is he in the server. I wonder if we'll even hear from him today. It's one of the more interesting aspects, I think, for working on these homebrews, is it really does put you out of your comfort zone. There's not much in the models I like, but I do like those cultists, and I could see myself using them if I like I said, swapped out their heads. I could take some of them, probably. I don't know. Swap out the heads on the cultists. I could use some of the characters like the Fate Master or Fate Weaver, whatever it is. The dude with the mutant head coming out of his shoulder. Take those and maybe like tone down some of the mutations a little bit on them and make a 4 set of those. I could probably do that. Get something I kind of like. I know I will need some demons. I just don't know what I would do. I just really don't like those Angors. Hello, hello. Welcome. Evening. For me, it is currently 2:42 in the afternoon, so that puts you, what, 3-4 hours ahead of me? But it is a pleasure to see you nonetheless. Thank you for stopping by. How's your night going? I swear, I hate doing the mold lines on these. Fascinating. These pieces are probably my least favorite. UK. Oh, very nice. Well, welcome for stopping on by. I appreciate it. Hopefully you're having a good time. I just got off work not that long ago. Thought I'd come home and do a little Warhammer building. Trying to get my Knights Army finished and ready to go. On my step to go to the Las Vegas Open, hopefully, fingers crossed, next year. Oh, White Scars. I love White Scars. The White Scars are awesome. I secretly hope that the next Primarch that gets released for 40k is Jagatai Khan, because I know they teased him back when they first teased Lionel Johnson. I have a feeling it's probably going to be either Perturabo or Lehman Russ, but I'd love to see the Khan come back to the setting, because I think the White Scars are just awesome. You plan thinking about going like full bike heavy on your new army, or maybe a lot of jump pack intercessors? Oh, that'd be a cool range. Because that's where my mind immediately goes, is as much speed as humanly possible for Space Marines. It's going to be Portalobo, I think. I just want Grav bikes of 11th and Vetron bikes and lots of bikes. Yes. You have to have bikes if you're doing White Scars. I agree. It's probably going to be Perturabo. I've put my predictions out there. I remember when they teased Perturabo back at the ending of 9th edition going into 10th with the Vashtor stuff. But if I had to pick, I'd love to see another Loyalist come back. And if I had to pick between the two, I'd probably pick Russ. I love the Space Wolves. They're what got me into the hobby. But you're probably right. I mean, with the new Iron Warriors Combat Patrol coming out, Demon Perturabo would probably be a pretty sick addition, I would think. I know he's quiet at the moment, but my buddy Sprue to Saga would love to see a Demon Perturabo.
I love all the Primarchs, so.
I mean, to be fair, there's not really much bad Primarchs out there. I know we have our opinions about Fulgrim, and they're justified.
Sorry, my fingers are like super cold. For some weird reason.
You know, they make these magical blankets for fingers called gloves.
Yeah, I wish I had some.
You ain't got no gloves? I'm planning on doing 60 Tactical Marines on Bikes Kit Bash, and I'm going to do a second company, so lots of flamers. Well, I do love me some fire, I have to say. So, I'm in. I think that'd be awesome. Hold on. Am I dumb? I might be dumb. I think I'm dumb. I think it's... Yep. I'm just dumb. Okay, so let's see. I need 23, 22, 17, 20, and 21. So 17, 20, 21, 22, 23. Got it. I wonder if they're still going to keep the indirect fire for fire flamers in 11th edition. That'd be amazing. You would be the bane of every Eldar player I've ever seen. See, the problem is I chose Imperial Knights, and I know when the edition first started, Imperial Knights were broken. It's not why I picked them. By the time I decided I was going to be doing Imperial Knights were one of the worst armies in the setting. I think currently we're ranked 25 out of 28. So, race to the bottom. I don't know why I put that down there. I still need that, I think. Yeah, 17. Okay. 20 and 21. Boom. Haha. There we go. See, once I finish my Knights Army, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I want to get one of every knight eventually, which, much to my wife's chagrin, my army once done will have 62 flamers for a 3,500 point army. That's crazy. I love it. Don't get me wrong. See, at one point in time, I was thinking about doing an Astra Militarum army, and I was going to do Krieg, and I was going to, because you could do, I think, it may be different. I never had the codex, but I was pretty sure you could do one flamer per squad with them, as well as if you had a bolstered squad of, I think, 20 guys, you could take a Melta. So it's going to be super flamer and Melta oriented, and I wanted to get the Malkador Infernus tank. I think now it's a Legends model for 40k, which does suck, but I wanted to get the Malkador Infernus tank and run a very flamer-centric Imperial Guard army. I might still do that. right now, my next project after this is my Carriage and Overlords for AOS, but I have plans to do a hyper kit bashed Astra Militarum force for my Imperial Knights. I want to take the idea of the Household Guard along with my Knights. So basically, it's an Astra Militarum quote-unquote regiment that's under the direct control of my Knight House. So I have like a kit-bashed Lehman Russ that I'm planning on doing with a steam tank from Warhammer Fantasy. So I kind of take the armor plating from that and put it on there, and then my plan is to basically make my basic soldiers out of Tempestus Scion torsos. The weapons, I've designed a las rifle, which unfortunately, when I came up with the idea, I realized someone else had beat me to the punch by taking the Lucius pattern from the Kriegs, taking the receiver from that, and then combining that with the barrel of the Skitarii Vanguard from the Admech. Basically making what looks like a laser musket. Turns out Duncan Rhodes of Warhammer fame has already beat me to the punch and did that himself. I was so mad. I thought I'd come up with a really cool idea. I was like, nope, somebody beat me to it. But still going to do it. Be expensive, though. I've got to get tactical bike squads, 12 flamers, 10 aggressors, plus 2 sergeants, all with flamestorm gauntlets, 24 flamers, 10 centurions, 2 sergeants, 24 flamers, 2 redemptor dreadnoughts with flame. Jesus. That sounds awesome. I can't wait to see what they look like. That would be amazing. Holy moly. Wow. And the Centurions, too. Paul is bad at stuff, is proud of you. Of course, I think he said recently, this most recent video, he's retiring the list of 18 Centurions. I didn't finish it, unfortunately. I need to go do that at some point. 1 second. All this plastic everywhere. I think that's pretty flush. Alright, what's the orientation on this again? Let's find out. So that's 23, this is 22, and it goes into 22. Okay. So we're talking... Okay, that makes sense. Alright. It's too thick and I'm going to cut myself if I'm not careful. And the last thing I need to do is cut myself live on stream. There we go. Now I'll just trim that down ever so slightly. The only thing I can think of that would be able to fight that many flamers that you're planning out there, I have an Acheron. Does that count? It's got a giant flamethrower on it. Am I part of the cool flamethrower club at that point? Because Jesus, that's just so many flamers. That'd be so cool. I love fire, so I'm in. But all right. Come on. There we go. Total 70 bikes, and because of the detachment, they move and advance, shoot, and charge and grenades in one turn. Good lord. It sounds awesome, but I'd hate to fight that. I would be awful. Got a lot of armor, though. I might be okay, but I have knights. There's not really much else I can do. If I was any other faction, though, I'd be worried, for sure. That's a lot of firepower. Oh, and they're fast, too. Because I forget, like, White Scars have... I think they have extra movement, or more movement than other Space Marine chapters. Or am I thinking of older editions? I might be thinking of older editions. But either way, scary stuff. Okay. That's not the piece I'm looking for. There it is. There we go. Almost glued that backwards. I don't need another repeat of yesterday with my Knight Errant. There we go. Piece of... Problem with having Huskies in the house, ladies and gentlemen, is you just have random...
Hello, gentlemen.
Holy smokes, it's an Ed boy. They can move, advance, charge, and shoot due to lightning assault. 3 squads will be led by a Judiciary, so they have fight first. Good God, man. You're not, nobody's going to have fun fighting you. Ed boy, just FYI, thank you for joining the party. I am live streaming, and your audio is included while in Discord. So, don't say anything too apropos or talk about any current political issues, if you would mind.
You got it.
So how you doing, Ed boy?
I'm doing pretty good. First day of spring break.
Very nice. Well, explains why you're on. So Josh is currently working on his next video, looking up some information and getting some stuff ready for his next video. And I am just hanging out on stream.
Working on the thumbnail currently because I got dragged for apparently having AI for a background.
B16. So I finally get to dip into the new Sprue. I am looking forward to this.
AI in your art. I'm like, well, I also don't have the money to fund a gentleman to come and do my artwork for me.
Okay.
Believe me when I say I find no joy in having to use AI.
So the people of the internet are hounding you for that.
It was one comment, and to be fair, it was constructive criticism. But at the same time, if you have no other alternative, you have no other alternative. It is what it is. Look. It's fine. Your first video on Sprue to Saga was fantastic. Don't worry about anything else. Just enjoy what you enjoy. Do what you got to do. Maximize as much joy in the hobby as you possibly can. Speaking of hobbies, boy, how goes your journey building your soul blights?
One skeleton soldier at a time.
One skeletal soldier at a time. Well, there's this guy in my stream who says he's planning on planning out his White Scars army he's planning on building, and let me tell you, it sounds awful, and by that I mean the plan is fantastic. I just don't want to fight it. He said, let me scroll up here, because this guy's got crazy ideas. So the idea is he's got, what was it? Total of 62 flamers, if I remember correctly. Planning on 60 tactical marines on bikes. I'm going to do second company, so lots of flamers. So it's like 12 tactical squads, tactical bike squads with 12 flamers, 10 aggressors plus 2 sergeants, all with flame store gauntlets, 24 flamers, 10 centurions, 2 sergeants with 24 flamers, and 2 redemptor dreadnoughts with flamers. A total of 70 bikes, and because of the detachment, they have advance, shoot, and charge, and grenades all in one turn. I don't want to fight that much fire.
That sounds to me like a salamander army.
It kind of does sound like a salamander's army in the best possible way. Let's see, I need 24. Listen, someone wants to be fast and use fire. I am a fan. I like fire.
Make sure the enemy is crispy.
Extra crispy. We've got some Trigoris fried Necron going on over here. Or Eldar. Eldar would be better, but that would be a more Salamander's joke, considering, you know, Vulcan's career as a fry cook. It's funny, because he lit an Eldar child on fire, Edward.
Yes.
There we go. And here I am building Imperial Knights. I'm very excited, though. I'm so close. I've got this one. I've got the Castigator next to do. And then after that, I get to work on the Porphyrion, which I'm going to spend my week off from work doing, which is I'm super, super stoked for.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Ed Boy, remind me, after I'm done here on the stream, I need to talk to you, actually.
Okay.
But yeah, I think between that, I think now I've got, 3 Questoris Knights, because I've got the Preceptor, the Errant, and the Defender. And then I've got my Acheron and my Castigator, which is nice, for my Cerastus. I have a Castellan, 4 Armigers, 2 Helverins, 2 Warglaves, and my Porphyrion. And then I'll be getting another Questoris here in the next couple of weeks, which will be nice.
So many.
Oh, yeah. Eventually I'm going to have one of each of the Questoris Knights. I think that literally... I think there's only 5 more Questoris Knights after that. I'm going to be doing I think I'm going to build the Gallant, which has got the Reaper Chainsword and the Lightning Gauntlet. Or, excuse me, Thunder Gauntlet. Or I think it's Lightning Gauntlet, never mind. Because I have a really cool pose I want to do for that model, which I will need to get those 3D printed Nurglings from you whenever you get the chance. 3 squads have a chaplain, so each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, add +1 to the wound roll. Dear God. I'm going to need my Porphyrion to do some serious work against those bikes. That way they don't get anywhere close to me. And at strength 18, I better hit. Okay, so do I do... Oh, I do it with the 4 posts here. Hey, welcome back, Real Luke. How you doing? Alright, let's see here. It doesn't... Thunderous impact. Each time a model in this unit makes a melee attack, if the unit has made a charge this turn, improve the strength and damage characteristics by the attack by 1. Good God, man. You don't have to... I'm already dead. You don't have to murder me again.
That is terrifying.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Luke. Well, you know what? Thank you for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. It was good to see you. Oh, this is for the conversion beam. No wonder that's not working. I'm trying to make a square peg fit through a round hole, and I'm sure with enough brute force I'd get there. There we go.
See, only a round hole will go into a square. Or
Try that one more time.
peg
Try that one
will
more
go
time.
into a square hole.
I saw a notification that started streaming, and I knew I just had to pop in for a few minutes to say hi. Well, you know what, Luke? I do appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I know you can't stay long, but I really do appreciate you popping by and saying hi, at the very least. I'm just going to go for today since I can't do any stream tomorrow. I'm busy all day tomorrow, hanging out with my grandfather and my best friends down at Lake Hefner, doing a fundraising cookout down there that I've done every year for the last 21 years. So I am... very excited to do that, but I will be missing tomorrow, so I thought today would be a good consolation stream. And you know what? It'll always be archived, so you can always come back and watch later. Just watch or hang out or whatever you want to do. All right, Ed Boy, I know you have... like, finances are obviously tight, and Warhammer's not a cheap hobby, right? What's the one Tau model, if money was no object for you, what's the one Tau model you would like to have for your full army?
Now, it is in pieces, but just considering it one model, if put all together, correct?
Yeah, well, not necessarily. What do you mean? Are you asking for clarification here? I mean, like, the one unit, so I suppose...
Okay, I would like the official Taunar heavy armor,
Ooh.
because I have 3D printed one, but I would like the official one.
You would like the official... That's the only reason I don't want to do 3D prints for my forces, is only because I want to take them to tournaments. One of these days, I want to go to the Las Vegas Open. I will go.
One of these days, we're going to play a battle together, and I can use all my 3D printed ones.
That's
That'll
fine.
look just as good as the official ones.
And that's fine, dude.
Can't take them to tournaments.
You can't take them to tournaments. Thank you for that, and I hope tomorrow gets real great and you guys... You know what? Thank you, Luke. I do appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's usually the biggest dinner that... So we do it for the Oklahoma City Boat Club, and it's usually the biggest dinner event that they do every year. My grandfather's been in charge of it for a long time, at least 40 years, and I've been doing it with him for the last 20 or so, and I think after he's gone, they want to ask me to take over. Even though I'm not officially a member of the Oklahoma City Boat Club. So I appreciate that, Luke. That means a lot. Thank you. There we go. The Taunar, that would be a lot of fun. I'd love to fight that. I think my Porphyrion versus Taunar would be a very interesting fight. If Caffeinated Borb were in the chat, I think he would have something to say, because he's a huge Tau guy that likes my videos, and I need to just... What I need to do is buckle down and continue writing the script for that video, but I've hit a wall, and I still want to post some content, and I figure if I'm going to be... You're welcome. I hope you have an excellent stream. I have to go now, so bye. Talk to you later, brother, man. Thank you so much. But I think the Taunar versus Porphyrion would be a lot of fun. You said is it fully 3D printed?
I have all the files. I have the main body, arms, and legs, just not the main cannon.
Well, how much is the town armor? I'm gonna look that up real quick. Let's go.
The body by itself, not the arms, no top weapons, is $270.
That's not how you
one of
spell
the
.com, Zach. There we go.
Is $4. Some of the main cannons, $124. This is why I said, does it count if it's not all together at once? Because you have to buy each part separately.
Yeah, there we go. Ah, okay. So it's oh man, that'd be a big model for sure. It's resin too. It looks like. Oh, that's cool. I like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, but I would like that full set.
It would be amazing to see that fully done. It's basically like the Tau version of a Titan, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, some of the battle suits, depending on how big they are, could match up probably to the smaller knights.
Yeah, I think the one that does match up the closest would probably be the
Ghost battle suit?
Ghost Keel. The one I'm thinking of is the Storm Surge. I don't know.
That one, actually, no, this Storm Surge is probably good for some, probably a medium-sized knight, maybe smaller
Well,
than a knight that size.
it's probably going to be comparable. If I had to, probably in terms of role, not necessarily in terms of size, but in terms of role, probably looking at about a Castellan or a Dominus frame. But it'd be interesting. I'd like to see what that would be like. Goodness gracious, my allergies are getting me so bad today. Well, Ed boy, my dad had something. He had a bone to pick with you.
I did say I was going to jump in a moment, but it took me a little bit longer.
It's okay. No. That's not why my dad has a bone to pick. What would you like to see from 11th edition? What's in your wish list? Oh, man. Let's see. What would I like to see from 11th edition? Well, I'll say this. I'm an Imperial Knights guy. That's been my main go-to faction now for most of 10th edition. I used to be a huge Space Wolves guy. Still am. I love the Space Wolves. It's just something about the Knights has always drawn me too. And I would have said, had it been, I don't know, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I would love to see a new Knight. You know, they've teased it. I forget what it's called. The Tychlius class of Knight. And then they announced the Destrier. But I think what I'd love to see in 11th edition is a new faction. I'd love to see a new faction be brought in. They've teased for quite some time. Chaos Tau have been thrown out there. I'd love to see an expansion to the Leagues of Votan, but if I had to pick my number one thing, I'd love to see Dark Mechanicus. I want to see a Dark Mechanicus army. I think between Vashtor with the Arcs of Omen, them teasing Perturabo, I think the Dark Mechanicus would be a perfect addition. I'd love to see, it'd be so cool to see them come up with, you have demon weapons and demon engines that the Dark Mechanicus have worked on. I'd love to see what they look like and where they've been. I mean, they're a major player in the lore right now and have been, but they're usually just like an adversary for Belisarius Cawl and his ilk to fight. But seeing a full army for them, I think that'd be amazing. I want to know what that would look like and everything, like with their version of the Skitarii or just any kind of heretical variant of the existing Mechanicus model set. I think would just be chef's kiss. Well, I forget what the chicken walkers are called, but throw in some like demon flesh growth or what are those robots called? They look like Protectrons. Here, I'll just... Let's see. The Castellan robots. Oh my gosh, I think they would look sick with some kind of chaos conversion on them. I think that would be the coolest thing. Other than that, I'm not really sure. I think more Leagues of Votan. I think I'd like to see a large expansion to their range. I think what they have is great. I'm still waiting to see a flyer from them. And I'd like to see a little bit more of like the OG, like original squats. Like a little bit of that flavor come back into them. Would be really cool. But definitely Dark Mechanicus, 100%. All right. What about you? What do you want to see from 11th edition? Ed Boy, do you have any predictions for what you want to see in 11th edition?
Depending on what they put into it, if it's all pretty much copy and paste, I would like either cheaper or at least a partial free edition of 11th edition.
What do you mean?
Like, I know it's just always adding in new rules and adding new things into it, and then the rest of it is just kind of copy and paste or revise into it. Why not make a free edition?
Well,
for the 11th one.
Would love to see new tabletop game rule set like Dawn of War for tabletop with more buildings, upgrades, and terrain. I think that'd be great. Having like something added to the tabletop side of the thing with rules. I think if they expanded Crusade and made it just a little bit more like Dawn of War, I think that'd be a really great idea. Back to your point, Ed Boy, I think they're talking about how they're thinking about making 11th edition backwards compatible with 10th. So the idea is, and it's just the rumor, but the idea is your codexes will be backwards compatible. So you can keep your same codex and keep those same rules that you had in 10th edition for 11th edition. Which I guess would be kind of what you're talking about. I agree, they should make them cheaper. The codexes should be much cheaper, because at this point they're not even talking about there's hardly any lore in them. It's really just a glorified rule set.
That's just copy and paste, saying, oh, you can just use what you have from 10th edition and just use it for 11th now.
Yeah, well, it means
a whole bunch of new rules for some other stuff that's coming in.
Yeah, but if your codexes are backwards compatible, that's less money you have to spend. I agree, though. Seeing the rules be cheaper would be nice. Although if they do something like a Dawn of War rule set for the tabletop, that would be really cool. I'd love to see more love for the narrative side of things. I'd love to... more lore is always nice. The fact that we've been stagnated on lore for this entire edition is just disappointing, to say the very least.
So I think it would be cool they put in the aspect. I don't know if this is either fan-made or
they should allow you to keep all previous models so long as they have not been updated and be able to use older data sheets. I agree with you. Wilson Family Jewelry. That would be nice. That would be really nice if they could do that. Moving stuff to Legends is great and all. But I'd love to see them support Legends just a little bit more, make the rules for some of them playable, because some of them are just unplayably bad, and others are so good, but you can't use them. They're brokenly good, but you can't use them in official settings, and I think that's stupid. They should support Legends entirely, and give them at least something playable, especially if you're not going to come up with new models. Just love where you've come from, show reverence to the thing. Don't even get me started with how they've treated Old World. I will go on a rant for hours about that. I'm sorry, Ed Boy. You were saying something. I was reading that message. What were you about to say?
I was saying that I don't know if it's a
Ooh.
theory or something, but I heard that possibly you can make a chaos faction of the Tau.
Oh yeah, they've been teasing Chaos Tau for a little while, and I want to see what that would be like. You know, they with the Arcs of Omen campaign.
I would see it more as the armies that follow. I can't remember his name right now.
Farsight?
It's slipping my mind. Farsight.
Yeah, well,
Armies
that's
that don't have any ethereals that can't control them, as everyone likes to say.
listen. Tau love left and right. I get it. You have to be that guy.
But
They brainwash
I
people.
also believe there's going to be a new chaos god. Not really chaos, but a new power in there called the Greater Good. Because so many of them believe in it, that gives them power.
But here's the problem.
The minor deity.
Here's the problem. Tau have such a minor presence in the warp. I doubt that the Greater Good would have a deific.
That's why I say it's a minor, not a major.
Well, I mean, yeah, when you say minor, you know who else is a minor chaos power? Vashtor, Malice, Be'lakor, who are also really powerful chaos entities.
Exactly.
I would like to see some Chaos Tau. They kind of hinted that. I've heard Iron Warriors versus Orcs Armageddon. You know what? I've heard the same thing, but I've also heard like Space Wolves versus Orcs for Armageddon. And I don't know which one to trust. It could be both. It doesn't have to necessarily be just one way. It could be both, for sure. So is this done? I think I finished this. Huh. Well, I gotta clean up that sprue goo I spilled all over it, though. They did tease Chaos Tau, or at least they hinted very heavily during the Arcs of Omen campaign with Farsight possibly being Chaos Tau, and it never went anywhere. So I'd like to see what that's all about.
I can kind of see Farsight going chaos, not because the Chaos God influenced him, but more because of the betrayal he's had in his campaign.
Oh, I don't know. I could see it. I mean, they kind of hint that blade has been corrupting him, because if you go back and watch the old Arcs of Omens trailers from 3 years ago, it seemed to imply that he has been, an unwitting participant in Khorne worship. Because remember, Khorne cares not from where the blood flows, Edward.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay. It would be cool to see Iron Warriors fighting orcs, though. I want to see what Demon Perturabo looks like. Iron Warriors might be removed from the main Chaos Space Marines Codex and receive their own, similar to the World Eaters or Death Guard, featuring unique units and upgrade kits. I hope that's the case. I think they need to. I think they're slowly starting to replace the Black Legion with the Red Corsairs. I think that's what's going to happen. Not immediately, but I do think in the next 10, 15 years, Black Legion are going to be mainly Red Corsairs now. I hope every single Legion that's Chaos gets a Chaos Codex, except the Alpha Legion, because they're loyalist. I will die on that hill. Perturabo, Primarch of the Iron Warriors, could return to the tabletop with teasers hinting at Black Suns within the Eye of Terror. They teased him originally way back in with the end of the Arcs of Omen, because they name dropped him for the first time in major lore publications that had nothing to do with the Horse Heresy in the contemporary timeline with Vashtor at the end of the Arcs of Omen campaigns through last edition. And I could see him returning. I think it's pretty much a guarantee that he returns, because they keep dropping hints for him. For getting into conspiracy territory, I think what's going to happen here is Vashtor will ascend to a Chaos God. If you look at there's a supplement that came out for Horus Heresy 3rd edition, I believe it was, called The Burning of Omen Mott. And in there, it describes 8 etheric domains, and each of those domains has a corresponding name. I think I can find the graphic, but in it, I don't think I can show it here. Gazkul, Thraka, and Commissar Yark may return. I freaking hope they do. I hope they do, and I hope Angron and Gazkul duke it out over the possible death. Burning of Omen Mott. 8 etheric domains. I don't care, Reddit. Go away. So, okay. So they have arranged on the 8-pointed star the cardinal directions, so north, south, east, and west, which all have names for them that don't really mean anything to us right now necessarily. And then the ordinal directions, so northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast, all have names tied to the existing 4 Chaos Gods. So you've got, what is it? Heedless Slaughter. I wonder who that could be. Infernal Tempest, again. That one could be questionable, but I'm pretty sure that's Tzeentch. Rapturous Sensation and Putrid Corruption. And what's funny is, they always talk about how the 4 Chaos Gods have their opposites. So you have Khorne, who is Heedless Slaughter, and Khorne is directly opposed to Slaanesh. And Slaanesh gets their power from excess, pleasure, pain, torture, right? Whereas Khorne only gets his power from essentially murder. Typically in combat, obviously. So you've got that going. But then you have Infernal Tempest, which is the god of change, god of hope. That's being Tzeentch. Also sorcery, magic, and mutation. And then Putrid Corruption, who is obviously Nurgle. But Nurgle is the god of stagnation, decay, and rot, right? So stagnation and change are diametrically opposed to one another. So Nurgle and Tzeentch, their rivalry makes perfect sense. Again, Slaanesh and Khorne, their rivalry makes sense because, again, they're diametrically opposed to one another. What makes it interesting is that there are, in the cardinal directions, you have in the north, you have Encroaching Ruin, in the south, Ruinous Disillusion. In the east, you have Malevolent Artifice, and in the west, you have Formless Distortion. Fun fact. Of all the people, and Ed Boy, this is for you, and Josh, if you're paying attention, it doesn't matter, I know you're busy. Malevolent Artifice. Does that sound like a character that we know in the contemporary timeline of 40K?
I mean, I would think it would be named character of a Slaanesh champion or something.
No, Malevolent Artifice. It's Vashtor. Vashtor is a greater demon whom basically makes weapons and forges demon engines and does weapons trade essentially with all the other factions, which includes Perturabo, who works very closely with Vashtor. I think they're tied. I think what's going to happen is Malevolent Artifice is going to be Vashtor. Vashtor is going to ascend to the level of Chaos God at some point. He's going to be Malevolent Artifice. Fun fact, Perturabo is technically a part of Chaos Undivided, but if Vashtor ascends to Godhood, Perturabo and Vashtor could team up, which makes perfect sense to me because they're both in the weapons, artillery, siege kind of category. And if they're both demonic, it just makes sense that Perturabo and Vashtor would be tied together. Whether or not they have he's a disciple like some of the other ones, Fulgrim being a disciple of Slaanesh is completely different. It doesn't matter about that relationship. It just matters that Perturabo would still give power to Vashtor, as Vashtor is a chaos god. Now, Vashtor, according to his domain, is directly opposite to Formless Distortion. I don't know what that means, but I do think there will be another chaos god. And what I think what's going to happen is, of the 8 remaining living chaos Primarchs, the rest will ascend to godhood, and each one will be tied to a different chaos god, a newborn chaos god. Fun fact, again, going back to it, Ruinous Disillusion, a lot of people have talked about how that sounds like Malice, the chaos god that hates chaos, essentially, who is two-faced, double-sided, and he seeks to destroy chaos, which will inevitably, in turn, destroy himself, right? Fun fact, Ed Boy, what faction within 40k, specifically Primarch, would you consider two-faced and would work against itself to destroy itself?
Which Chaos faction?
Yeah, which Primarch is two-faced and works against itself to destroy itself?
Angron?
No, Edward. Angron is already tied to heedless slaughter and Khorne, right? We're talking about the new Chaos Gods. Potential. This is still a theory, but potential Chaos Gods. It's the Alpha Legion. Two-faced, right? So, have you seen the artwork for the Sons of Malice on which is an existing Chaos warband?
I have not.
You should look them up, but they are half black and half white. Like literally one side black, one side white. That is their color scheme. Split right down the middle. Right? Malice is a Chaos God that hates the Chaos Gods. And he seeks to, or in older editions. I mean, technically he's still around. I think they've retconned him away from being a Chaos God because it's not like GW has like official announcements for this kind of thing. But Malice is still around. They still talk about the Sons of Malice. They talked about Malice recently in a short story. But what's fascinating about that is that Malice works to destroy chaos. He hates chaos, right? Well, the Alpha Legion, they are famous, one, for being two-faced. Do you know why they're two-faced, Edward?
Because their whole thing is about espionage and trickery.
Exactly, but the other part of that is how many Primarchs did the Alpha Legion have?
2.
Exactly. One that was working for the Imperium, Alpharius, and one that was working against the Imperium for Horus, Omegon. And then you have those two factions, those two Primarchs working together, but now you have like a pro-Imperium faction of Alpha Legion and an anti-Imperial faction of Alpha Legion. So seemingly they're working against themselves, right? The whole point, it's very long and complicated, but the whole point is they were trying to find a third path where the Imperium wins and it doesn't get destroyed 10,000 years later. It was kind of their whole goal, right? So, I think, the Alpha Legion could pledge themselves to Malice and destroy Chaos. You've got two other ones that still exist, or that might exist, excuse me. And those etheric domains are Formless Distortion and Encroaching Ruin. And then in the center of the unified 8-pointed star is the Primordial Annihilator. A lot of people speculate that the Emperor is the god of Encroaching Ruin, that's the Dark King. I know we're getting into a lot of deep lore stuff, and I know you're not as into the lore as I am, but essentially, Edward, at the end of the Death, which is the last of the book series of the Siege of Terra, which is the second half of the Horus Heresy story, that the Emperor almost ascended to the level of Chaos God, called the Dark King. That would have been the end of everything, right? Chaos would have won, and the Emperor would have destroyed all life in the galaxy. I'm very much paraphrasing for anyone who's read the books. I'm just kind of giving the briefest of overviews. But people think that Encroaching Ruin is the Emperor, and if my theory is to be believed, the Emperor will eventually ascend to the level of Chaos God and will be the representation of Encroaching Ruin. He'll become an avatar of the 8-pointed star of Chaos. Whatever that means, whatever the Encroaching Ruin means, I think there will be a Chaos God dedicated to that of the current living Primarchs. Now, which one that is, I'm not sure. I am still not entirely convinced Kurz is dead. I mean, we're taking comic book rules here. I've never seen a body, so Kurz could still be out there. Which would be ironic, considering he built a shrine to the Emperor in the Horus Heresy novels made entirely out of flesh. I don't know if you're aware of that, Edward, but that's a thing that happened.
No, I was not aware of it. But I thought he also saw his death and he let it happen.
Well, here's the thing. So you have he is what's the proper phrase? Clairvoyant's not the right option, but he could see bits and pieces of the
Like
future.
visions?
He had the same visions that Sanguinius was having, but his visions were predominantly negative, whereas Sanguinius's were predominantly positive. So, but they both had future sight, which was very interesting. B2 and B1. So Kurz had those visions of the future, and he did see his death. Now, the whole point of it, and I think that there's an aspect to all of the Chaos Primarchs, that there's a tragedy to their story, because there's part of their story that was, unfortunately, was inflicted upon them, and part of their story that they have chosen. So, I'll give you an example. Kurz had a vision, right? He had future sight, and in the short story that they did, there was, like, he was chasing down a boy, and he had a vision of the future. And he had two visions of the future. He had one vision where this boy, he let the boy live. The boy went out and preached his word as the Night Haunter, basically creating an entire, I guess, religion around the Night Haunter, and brought peace to, I forget the name of the planet that they used to be from, Nostromo. Brought peace to Nostromo, and basically became like one of the confidants for Conrad Kurz, and basically created like a peaceful world, right? And there was another vision that he saw where this boy stabbed Kurz, and while he didn't kill Kurz, because Kurz is being a Primarch and all, it injured him enough that it let the boy escape. And from there, he basically started going around and telling the whole planet, like, yeah, the Night Haunter ain't shit, he's a mortal man, we could kill him, and basically, like, ending with all the work he had done up to that point being undone, right? He was trying to scare people into being not evil on this planet, right? So, you had those two visions. Kurz chose to listen to the vision that said this boy could hurt him and undo his work. And so he snapped the kid's neck, right? Now, two things. One, Kurz as a whole character used to claim that the visions he saw would come to pass, right? But neither of those visions came to pass, right? Because he killed the kid. Snapped his neck in twain, yeah? So, one, we can already assume that his visions are not visions necessarily of the future. He had two visions. He had one vision that was positive and one vision that was negative. So he had a vision that told him everything was going to be fine, this would be a good thing, and one vision that said, no, this is terrible, everything's going to go to shit, you need to fix this problem here and now, right? He chose to listen to the negative vision, and heeded its warning instead of listening to the vision that said, no, everything's going to be just fine, right? From that day forward, any other vision that Conrad Kurz ever had were negative visions. So it is my belief, one, that Kurz was given a choice. He could listen to the vision that saw a good future coming, and he could follow that, and he would have had the exact same visions that Sanguinius would have had. Or he listens to the vision that gives him a warning of a dangerous future, and then from then on, every other vision he would have had would have been a negative one. And that was the one that he saw, right? So when he made that choice, he basically chose to listen to the negative vision, which gave him those horrifying visions that haunted him for the rest of his life, right? The other thing we learn from this is that Kurz, his visions don't necessarily have to come true, right? He killed that kid. He was neither stabbed by that kid, nor did he let that kid go. Ergo, that that teenager that he snapped that neck of, neither of the visions that he saw in his mind were the one that came to pass, which means he didn't have to kill that kid. Neither of those visions came true, which means his visions aren't a perfect vision of the future. He just chose to listen to the negative vision, which set him down this path. The reason that's significant is he did see a vision of his death, But at the same time, Kurz refused to try to change his own fate, because now you have to come to terms with something. Either he has no control over his fate and the visions are a clairvoyant view of the future as it's going to happen, or the visions are not prophetic, they are warnings of what could happen if a different path was not taken. We know Kurz did horrible things to try to make people break or in the process of furthering the Emperor's agenda, and he never thought he had control over his own fate. He always blamed the Emperor for it. You cursed me to live, now I will do what I am meant to do. And in his mind, nothing he did was ever his fault, because he knew he was going to die in the end. It was going to happen, right? The problem is, if his visions aren't necessarily going to happen because of the short story that they wrote, well, that means that every decision that Konrad Kurz ever made was a decision he made, not a decision that was going... He wasn't a victim of fate. He was inflicting this pain on other people. And I don't think Kurz could have confronted that. I think he thought that was his escape. He's like, I'm not in control, it's not my fault, and that's how he could cope with what he was doing to other people. And in the end, he was just a monster, and he was just a broken toy, and he made all those decisions, and he couldn't live with that choice. So in his mind, he had to be killed in that shuttle, because if he survived, that means everything he did was his own fault. He wasn't a victim of fate, he was the one inflicting that pain on other people. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, I was a really long-winded way of saying that, but the reason I think Konrad Kurz comes back, I think either way. If he is dead, he's coming back. But I don't think he's dead. We never saw a body. The agent never came back and reported that the job was done. We assume he is dead because he wanted to die. But that may not necessarily be the case. He may still be alive out there somewhere, just utterly batshit insane.
That's very possible.
And that's what I personally believe. Okay. Ooh, I get to clip flamers. I don't have 62 of them, but I've got 2 of these bad boys. So all I have to do is get 60 more, and then I'm caught up. Look, I just can't wait to get this bad boy put together, because I think the Knight Defender is going to be key to my strategy here. Because on my Porphyrion, I get a 5-up invuln save, but as long as I use the Defender and I'm blocking line of sight and direct line of sight from people attacking it, I can give my Porphyrion a 4-up save, which basically gives it a 50% chance of saving on an invuln. So, Edward, I know those don't mean anything to you, but I'm going to give you a quick little pointer on how that works, right?
All right.
So the way attacks work, I'm very much a noob in this regard, but the way attacks work in Warhammer is, one, you use a d6, obviously. You've seen enough playing on tabletop, you know how that works. But you make 2 rolls, and then your opponent, not your enemy, your opponent makes 1 roll, right? And the idea is you have to roll essentially your chance to hit, right, which is your attack roll.
Yeah. And
depending on what weapon you're using, so if you're using like a ballistics weapon, like a ranged weapon, you have to make a ballistics skill or a ballistics check. Basically, you're rolling with that unit's ballistic skill, essentially. And you add that to the roll, right? Which is directly opposed by the enemy armor. And then you're going to roll your wound roll. So you roll your attack roll, then you roll your wound roll, and then the enemy makes a save. And if they save, then your wounds don't go through. Basically, it just hits the armor of the enemy. It doesn't actually damage them, right? Or the damage is so minor they can just shrug it off. So, if I say I have a 4+ save, that means if I roll a 4 or higher, that I make the save and I'm no longer going to be taking damage from that attack, right? Normally on an invuln save, from what I've seen, not everybody has an invuln save, but For my knights, I have a 5-up invuln and save for the most part. I don't have the codex yet, but what I have seen online on Wahapedia and whatnot, it's a 4+ invuln and save. So basically, a 5+ invuln and save. So I have a 40% chance. Well, technically, like a third, like 1/3, but basically 40% chance of making a save, right? However, if I roll with this defender, because the shield on the defender is so powerful, I can roll a 4-up, which gives me a 50% chance to save, assuming that my defender is standing between the unit that's attacking my Porphyrion and my Porphyrion. So as long as it's sitting right smack dab in between the units, I can give my Porphyrion a 50% chance to save on a ranged attack, which is crazy. That's like crazy good.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I need to go ahead and get 824 and 825. Damn. Which is kind of the whole idea. And then I have my Preceptor, and my Preceptor is basically going to give me improved. Is this a? Yeah. So I need to get 24 and 25. So there's two 24s. Oh, no, it is 24s. There's just 24s. So my Preceptor actually gives my Knight a +1 chance to hit. So I increase my chance to hit by +1, and then my Defender gives my Knight a +1 on my invulnerable save, which basically makes it easier to save against damage. So I have the Preceptor, and then I have the Defender that's both buffing my Porphyrion. So now my Porphyrion is hitting on a lower number and is saving on a lower number. So I'm hitting more often and I'm saving more often, which is freaking awesome if you ask me. That's just my humble opinion.
No, that is pretty good.
Of course, I don't necessarily need any buffs on my wound chance, considering I have a strength 18 weapon. So we didn't even get to strength yet. So here's how you calculate whether or not you hit. Your strength score is added to your roll to wound, basically. And what has to happen is you have to roll combined. So combining your strength plus your dice, you have to roll equal to or higher than the enemy's toughness to wound. Right?
Okay.
So if are you where you can look up a website real quick?
No, not right now.
Why is that?
I can't say.
You can't use your phone?
Give me about 1 minute, I can get to it. And
Oh,
it's in the other room.
fair enough. I got you. It's basically their toughness. I don't know what the max toughness is in 40K. I think it's like 12. I think. No. I think it's toughness. No, I think it is toughness 12. I think 12 is the highest you can possibly get. Let me just say this here. If I have a strength 18 weapon, Edward, you're a smart cookie. I bet you can figure this out. What number do I have to roll on a dice to hit somebody and damage them?
Okay, so strength 18. What was the toughness of the enemy?
I think the highest toughness in the game is 12, if I remember correctly.
Okay, my math, I don't think that's right. Wouldn't that be an automatic hit?
It's not an automatic hit, but it is an automatic wound.
Okay, automatic wound. Okay, so alright. So yeah, because you said it has to be strength plus your
Plus your dice, yeah.
plus dice to wound, and it has to be passive toughness. So yeah, that.
No, it has to be equal to or past their toughness. It's like hitting it with AC in Dungeons and Dragons. So if I've got a strength 18 weapon, if I hit, I'm basically auto wounding. I think invulns are different. I think the saves are different, but I'm talking like I don't have to roll to wound. I think it's just an automatic wound at that point. So they have to roll their saves, and if they roll a save, then they're fine. Which I'm looking for. And
website I can see.
It's called Wahapedia. You can pull up the stats of pretty much any unit. So no, I think I want the plasma gun pointing is really what I want. So I'll have the plasma gun pointing, but then I will do the conversion beam.
There's not even a search bar. How do I use that?
On Wahapedia? You don't know? Okay, let me
It's just a white page with the Wikipedia symbol in the background with all the Warhammer factions on the puzzle ball. And it just says choose game, and I can choose between all the
choose
stuff.
40k.
10th edition, sure, yeah.
Yeah. And then there's a search this site.
There it is.
Yeah. Oh.
I'll just
Oh.
search.
No, I didn't lose camera. Okay. Anyway. Got. Again, it's not 62 flamers, but it's a good amount of flamers. I got 2 of them. Okay, so now I need to add... I probably should add those to this anyway. Do I not add this to the plasma? I do add it to the plasma. Okay, so I need my A sprue. And I'm fine there. Is this what I need? I don't think this is what I need. Oh, okay, it is. Good. Good. I have to do stuff with very tiny pieces of plastic now. I'm not a fan of this, but...
Okay, the highest toughness unit is that Necron Monolith of 14.
Yeah, so I basically get auto wound.
From an 18, 4, so 2+.
Yeah.
Right? No. More spam?
No, it's still a 1+. I'm pretty sure.
What was your strength again? You said 18?
Strength 18.
Okay, it's because it's 4 over. So, yeah, auto wound. Okay, yeah, auto wound.
Alright, I'm gonna have to use my tweezers for this, which is gonna piss me off, because I'm not good at tweezers. So, I don't know why God decided that when I have hands, I should just have sausages taped to the end of a giant onion, but that's how my hands are built, and I'm not a fan. I'm still looking forward to fighting against your soul blights. You know what? While I have you, this would actually be a great opportunity if you wanted to work on your soul blights. Your lore.
Yeah, I was planning on looking up, watching some videos and getting more lore so I can get more information about it.
Okay, so
I know what I'm trying to create.
okay, so I need B8, B9, B12, B13, B10, and B11. That's a lot of Bs. But I can do this. Sure, man. Whatever you need. You've got a pretty good shtick. Having a mad scientist military organization of soul blights who are one of your main characters is dedicated to spreading the curse of vampirism or the soul blight curse to more than just humanity, and you have an orc sidekick, basically. Yeah, it's cool. I like it. I like the concept. All right, I gotta let the dogs out real fast. You okay, buddy? Come on, let's go. Outside. I swear, that is the last time I do anything with corkboard in the house where the puppy can get a hold of it. Because, holy crap, there's so much cork everywhere. Ugh, so much cork. I do love my puppy, though. Too bad he loves his mommy more than he loves me. Are you still with us there, Joshy Poo? That may be a no. We may be on our own, Ed boy.
Well, you are on stream. And it is your stream.
What do you mean by that?
I, like him, probably would have wanted to support your stream from the silence, but here we are.
What are you talking about? Josh was streaming with me yesterday, Eddie.
Oh. I don't know then.
My dad was streaming with me yesterday. Josh and my dad both.
Wow. Yeah, I got nothing.
It's okay. People are still trying to convince me I should stream as Donald Trump one of these days, just playing video games.
You know what? I think that should be a community goal.
My community of maybe 9 people.
Hey, if they want it bad enough, they can convince other people, say, hey, this dude is going to try and play games voicing it as Donald Trump. We need some subscribers. So yeah, you can see it too, because it's going to be hilarious. People of the internet are a very powerful force. I've seen it many times.
You know what? That's fair.
I would think if you were to say what it is, the goal was, what the number is, your your subscribers will get to meet that end.
I doubt it. I think it'd be a great, cute little community thing to do, but truth be told, I'm just enjoying hanging out and working on my models, and I really don't care who watches me. Because at the end of the day, the one thing I'm trying to capture is I really enjoy going to local game stores and building. We don't get to do that very much as a group, and Edmund Unplugged is cool. I just don't want to have to drive all the way out to Edmond every time, and going by myself sounds like a fine time, I suppose, but I'd rather have my friends and hang out with people that I know or that I can talk to and share my interests with. And I think, for me, live streaming while building my models just kind of gives me that local game store vibe, I have one person other than my setup here watching my stream, and I haven't had anyone comment for quite some time, in the chat. And let me tell you something. I'm okay with it. Because it gives me that sense of hanging out with people who love this hobby. And that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah. Just the time when I was streaming on Twitch, like Elden Ring or The Witcher, and I had that one guy helping me with hints on The Witcher when I was playing it.
Yeah.
It was a great feeling. I know that feeling. It's amazing.
Just hanging out with people who like what you like is just a lot of fun. And if I can help somebody build or paint a model just by sitting here, shooting the breeze, all while I'm putting together a night, then you know what? That's all I care about. And you know, one of these days, I'm going to have my Knights Army all built up and really pretty looking and painted. And I'm going to look back on this in this time where I hung out on YouTube and just talked with people while building. And I can look back on this time very fondly.
It'll be a good time.
It will be. It will be a very good time. And I hope whoever you are out there watching this, I hope you're having a good day. Also, praise the God Emperor.
You mean for the greater good?
No, fuck that Xeno shit. Alright?
Whoa.
No, I said it. Alright, listen. You're blue fish people who don't even have a soul.
We don't even have fins. We don't have gills. It's okay, alright?
Listen. You blue fish people who don't even have a soul can believe whatever you want to believe, okay? But you know what? I'm going to be sitting here.
Because we're more resistant to the warp and its chaos.
Your FTL sucks, alright? The only reason your faction exists is because of plot armor, alright? That's the only reason. You're smack dab stuck between the Imperium, the forces of freaking chaos, and Necrons. And you know what you got going for you? Your best character is a dude who only has 4 planets under his control. And that's it. And you're proud of that? You're proud of that, Edward?
Yes. Because unlike what everyone always says, make fun of them, they're still a pretty cool faction.
Yeah, they are pretty neat. I still want to build my Tau auxiliary army. Oh, that would be so cool. Just have... the idea is I'm basing it off of the French Foreign Legion. You know? Just an army of auxiliaries, kit-bashed races that don't normally exist, some Kroot. I have this idea. I have several ideas, but one of the ideas I want to do is rat folk, like rat people, basically space Skaven, that would be members of the Tau. And the idea I've got is, believe it or not, I saw Pete the Wargamer make some, and I thought they looked really good. And so, like, I would do Gene Stealer cult models, green stuff, some fur on the arms and the legs and such, make some tails, and then give them Tau weaponry, and make them an auxiliary race.
Just weapons, but armor too. Like
No.
armor.
No. That I would do weapons. I would do the weapons. They're not getting any armor pieces because they're auxiliaries, right? And then I would do. I'll make some tree people. I think I'll take the tree ents of Age of Sigmar, and make them. No, Sylvaneth, but we're talking about the Kurnoth hunters and shit. And I would make the tree lords. I'd make them tree people, and I would basically make them like they would be my battle suits, quote unquote, because they're gonna be big, and I'll give them like Tau railguns and stuff, you know. Then I'll have I'm gonna take those Vespid Stingwings, but I'm not gonna build them as Vespids. Okay, I'm gonna cut the wings off of them, kind of alter the pose a little bit, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to do the helmets. I think that's the biggest key here. But there's a race of ant people that exist in 40K called the Coral or something like that. It's Q apostrophe something something or another. Basically make those ant people, and then I'll have ant people as my auxiliaries as well. Okay, which will be freaking sick. And then I was thinking about doing some lizard people, make a lizard folk race. I even have lore I've developed for them a little bit. Josh wants to do them and add them to the basically take the Sorens and the God, why are Age of Sigmar names so hard to remember? Basically take the lizard men from Age of Sigmar, cut their limbs up a little bit, give them Tau weaponry, and then paint them up like clone troopers from Star Wars. You know, the whole paint schemes and everything, which I think would look sick. And then, yeah, it'd be really sick. And then, I had a couple of other ones I was gonna do. You know, Pete the Wargamer did a fungus race that he did out of some Ossiarch Bone Reapers, which looked really cool. Might do something like that too. But yeah, basically make all of these not real races in 40K and make them auxiliaries for the Tau. And the whole idea of this Tau Sept that I've been building is basically they're the French Foreign Legion, which is a real life thing. Thus the word French. And their whole shtick, Edward, is that if you want to join France as a citizen, you can do that through military service, right? And you do that by joining the French Foreign Legion, and after you've served your time in the Legion, you can become a French citizen. So basically, you know, these Tau, they don't have time for all of these lesser races, quote unquote, right? That they're going to treat as second class citizens anyway. And so what they do is they make them serve in this reject sept, basically a sept of outcasts, essentially. And the idea is that these outcasts will fight for the Tau, and if they do well enough, then they will be granted citizenship within the Tau Empire. So there's like no fire warriors, or very few fire warriors. They're actually all going to be kit bashes of other kits, and I'm gonna make them my Tau. That's gonna be my Tau Sept. I even had to name at one point in time, but I forget what it was. I basically found like a translator in Tau, and I made it like the Tau term for reject. And their colors are the standard Tau white with black. So I was gonna have like humans and a whole bunch of other these custom kit bashed races that are gonna basically be my Tau Foreign Legion, which I think would be really cool. Hey, there's my conversion beam done. Hip hooray! Well, mostly done. I got to put the anchors on it. I don't know if I have any more of those. I think I do. I have to. Those are the legs. I don't need those. Is it this sprue I need? I think it's this sprue I need. Kind of need. I'm going to adjust this light just a little bit. That's a little better.
Not bad. Yeah.
Okay. What you lurking, Ed boy?
I am. I have been.
Oh. Well, very nice.
I had to turn it down because I was getting
C6 and C5. Well, I've done this backwards. Oops. That's okay. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the parts serve the exact same purpose, so it's really not that big of a deal. And that is most of my Knight Defender. So my Knight Defender is practically done. I'm going to have to start working on the feet at some point, which is going to be annoying because I'm going to have to build the base. And if I'm going to do those, I'm going to have to do my Knight Errant and my Knight Preceptor. So I'm going to have to do the bases for those two. Almost did a Nicolas Cage there for a second. I'm going to have to do the bases for those two. Oh, look, a clue. Anyway, I'm going to do the bases for those two. I got to build rocks for the bases for the stances for each of the knights. But that's damn near all of my Questoris Knights done now, Eddie. I mean, after this, I've just got 2 more to go.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Cut those sprue gates off. One more sprue gate here. Okay. Before I continue, I'm going to need to clean up my desk. There's a lot of plastic dust here. And I love my utensils and my workspace, but dear God, I need to clean this up. So we're gonna okay. Got the legs here. Got the guns up here. Get these big bits of sprue. Alright. Almost vacuumed up my pieces. There we go. Okay. Conversion beam time. I think I'm going to have to use this. Why is that not the 3rd time I've done that today? I've done this more times than I care to count. At least none of it got on the model, which is all I give a shit about. Make sure you clearly labeled your sprue goo versus your regular Tamiya, everybody. That's a pain in the ass.
How do you have them mixed up?
Well, because, I mean, hey, Edward, at a quick glance, not while looking at the screen, just out of the corner of your eye, which one's which?
Rugu's on the left. The other one's on the right.
Yeah,
Clear.
at a glance, when you're looking at a piece of model in your hand and you see a green lid, you're going to go for the green lid, which is exactly what I've done multiple times today, which annoys...
Well, if that's the case, color...
Which is what I just... It's what I just said. Clearly label it.
No, not label. Color the lid.
If it's a different color, then it's clearly labeled. What color does a sanitation bucket have to be in a kitchen in a commercial setting?
Red.
Exactly. You're not going to mix that up with any other color. It's a clearly labeled bucket.
You'd be surprised how many people still get that wrong.
Dude, I wouldn't. I've worked in commercial kitchens. I know. I in my kitchen that I currently work in, I have a bunch of old ladies that still grab the green bucket and put sanitizer in it. And no, to be fair, they don't even put multi-quat sanitizer in it. They make a fucking bleach solution.
Oh,
You're not supposed
supposed to have bleach in there.
You're not. I know. Imagine my freaking surprise. You know what? I have to admit, these just look freaking cool. Okay.
Was that arm able to? Oh, is that arm not supposed to move?
I don't want it to. I want it to be locked down for the pose.
Okay.
So, I guess I could get the shoulder mounts. I only have a few more minutes left before I'm done anyway. So I'm just going to do the Void Shield. Yeah, I'm just going to do the Void Shield, I think. Now, I'm not going to glue the Void Shield down. People are going to call me dumb for doing that. The thing is, I don't want the Void Shield glued down for painting purposes. So, we're just going to... Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're just going to go ahead and put it together, and then I can magnetize it later when I need to. And I will be magnetizing it later, because that makes shit like this so much easier. I mean, look at this. There's actual, like, pretty good detail on this piece right there. You know, it's a lot focusing as much as I'd like it to, but there's a lot of detail here, and this is the bottom. Like, you're not going to see that on very well when you're trying to paint it, but
That's not bad.
no, I mean the details there. When you're trying to paint it when it's glued down, you're just not going to be able to get to those nubs. So I'm going to keep it separate, and I'll paint it, and then I'll glue it down. I'm going to magnetize it so I can just mag it down later when I'm ready. And then boom, Night Defender is like 95% done. I've been doing this now 3 days now, or 3 streams now.
That's good.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. I want to keep doing these Hangout streams every week on my days off, where I'm just hanging out, building, which will be a lot of fun. All right, so there's my Void Shield generator, which is gonna go boop like that, kind of. Does it go down? I don't think it goes down that low. Does it? It does not. Does it? There's no way. It's just those 2 pieces.
Oh wow. Yeah.
It is. So is it supposed to sit down that smooshed? I guess. Okay.
I mean, it looks like it's a tight fit, and so.
Well, it looks like it should be elevated ever so slightly like that. Not smushed all the way down. Huh. Oh well. Okay. That's enough staring at that and being weirded out. Let's go ahead and trim this up. Okay, 1 Void Shield generator down. Well, mostly down. I'm going to have to glue it, but... It would help if I wasn't being so freaking haphazard with my hobby knife. I'd like to not be that physically or emotionally challenged.
In your hand.
Well, in the back?
Yep.
Yeah, the puppy did that to me a couple of days ago. His thumb claws are sharp, very sharp. Don't mess around with a puppy. My wife was going to be handling that. She has been real busy and not feeling very well, so I've let it go. I could probably trim his nails. She wanted to be the one to do it because she wants him to be desensitized to her messing with his paws and stuff. But she'd probably tell me that's just stupid and I should just go ahead and do it. Okay, I think we're going to take a bet here. I've heard this song so many times before. I'm pretty sure this is Secret Grove of the Shy Dryad. We're gonna look it up. Right, ready? What are the odds I'm right, Edward?
I have no idea. I mean, usually you're pretty good with music, so.
Oh, it's the Secret Glade, excuse me. The Secret Glade of the Shy Dryad. Alright, cool. Hashtag not sponsored, but if anyone's enjoying this music, it is by an artist by the name of Fief. Fief. He makes really good dungeon synth music. Okay. Let's go ahead and get this glued down. Edward, if you want to know what you can get me for my birthday, I need another double pack of Tamiya.
A double pack of Tamiya?
Yeah. It's going pretty well, actually. Glad to have you back, Wilson. I'll show you, actually, where we're at. So I'm just gluing the void shield generator down now and getting that glued together. Since you've been gone, I just threw my leather cover away. I've managed to get my conversion beam generator pretty much finished, which is nice. I haven't attached the shoulder mounts for it just yet, but I will at some point. I'm probably going to have to extend these rods out just a little bit, so that might be fun. Obviously, Plasma Eviscerator is nice and finished. So now, all that's left, Defender, torso, legs, kind of legs, stay, and arms. So that's my Defender so far. So in 3 live streams, I've managed to get my Defender pretty much all the way finished. I'm going to magnetize the Void Shield generator. Stop it. I'm going to magnetize the Void Shield generator later because I want to keep it separate for painting purposes. And I have some really cool OSL ideas I really want to try with this. But once I get that done, Knight Defender, I'd say is pretty much finished at that point. All that's left is, of course, to attach the feet to the legs, but I have to do that when I build the base, which I'll probably do on stream. That way, you can see how people can see my creative processes. But I will have to run and grab it real quick. Haha. Okay, alright, sorry about that. But that is, you going to paint on stream too? I will, actually. I'm going to have to do airbrushing at first, just to get the base colors down, which I don't think I can do on stream, but I will be doing the actual painting process on stream when I use the actual wet palette and everything, which I'm very excited to do. But that's my Defender pretty much finished. That's my Knight Errant complete. And my Knight Preceptor, which I am very excited. So, all that's left now of my Knights Army, of what I currently own, is getting my Porphyrion and my Cerastus Knight Castigator finished, which I am very excited to do. So, yeah, awesome. I'm very, very happy with how it's coming across so far. I am tickled pink, and I cannot stress enough how happy I am with these. So, I don't know if I've ever got the chance to show you. I've done a lot of custom work to get these poses. I hate the standard poses that these knights come in. This is upside down on my side. Let's just... There we go. So I've got my Knight Errant that I've got this sprinting pose for that I had to do a lot of custom work for the toes to make finished. I had to break every single one of these off and glue them back down in the position that I wanted them with a lot of sprue gel. Same thing with these toes here, just to get the kind of that sprinting pose where it really does look like it's coming straight at you with its chainsword, which I think looks really good. And that was the first Questoris Knight I ever built, so I'm very happy with how that came out. Once you finished all the painting, you should show all of your knight. Oh, I want to. Oh my gosh, I am so happy and ready to do that. I've got a new webcam coming in soon, so I'll be able to set up a proper station in here in the game room and show it off. I've got my Knight Preceptor here that I've done a lot of work to. Again, doing a lot of like posing with the toes. This actually came along a lot faster, but I'm really happy with how this came out. And then, of course, you don't the camera focus is not going to work, but the amount of reposing I had to do for all the fingers here is just insane to get it to this pointing pose. But I had to go in through and drill out all of these knuckles and add plastic rod to it to really lock down that pointing pose, and I think it came out really, really good. So I'm very excited for this. And you can kind of tell I had to extend this rod in here just a little bit with some extra plastic rod that I had. So same diameter. I had to get that lined up, but oh man, it looks really good. I'm so pleased. So now all I've got to do, once I get the Defender done, I want to... They look awesome. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. I've put a lot of heart, like sweat, blood, and tears into this, and you can't really tell, but I've really screwed my thumb up trying to get a lot of this custom posing figured out. But no, they look great. So I think now I've got I've got my 3 Questoris Knights so far, 4 Armigers, my Castellan, my 2 Cerastus Knights, and my Porphyrion. And my wife says she's got some extra money coming in. She wants to get me another knight. So I'm going to get another Questoris Knight. And that gets me up to 2,500 points, I think. 2,500 in total, which I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. I love to show this off for size comparison and stuff. So, anyway, that's probably going to do it for me, though. I've got this here for the torso, or the waist of my Porphyrion, so it's going to be a really big model when it's done. I don't know how I'm going to get that filmed just yet, but... Hello, darling. I'm actually just wrapping up. Is everything okay? Okay. All right, well, thank you all so much for watching. I deeply appreciate it, and I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your day, and have a wonderful weekend, everybody. I got to get bouncing out of here. I've got some stuff I got to get handled, and then, yeah, so, was just going to ask about points. It would be cool to see it all together. I agree. It'll be a lot of fun. So, but I hope to see you in the future, Wilson. That'd be great to catch you on some future live streams. I hopefully get to... Next week, I think I'm going to try to do Wednesday and Thursday. So, alrighty, guys. Well, I'll catch you all later. Thank you so much for tuning in, and bye.